I'm here today with a friend and a relative, sort of. Her name is Amy Vaughn, and she is a really sweet lady who I wanted to interview because of the wonderful things that she makes out of clothing. Many people ask me all the time when they find out that I do quilt patterns, they will say, "Oh, I wonder, I would like to take Grandma's clothes and make them into a quilt or make them into something. How do you do that?" And so Amy does that. So I thought we would find out a little bit about her her business, her hobby, her bears. So, Amy, I want you to tell us just a little bit about your sewing history or how you got started into. I know you didn't start sewing bears off the.
No, I started sewing just about like anybody else does. My mom taught me to sew when I was about 12 years old, and then home ec and that kind of thing, and I just really enjoyed sewing, made my clothes, and then when I had my daughter, I made some things for her, and then granddaughters, I love to make dresses and things like that. So that's how the sewing started.
She makes her granddaughter, well, I don't know, do you make your grandsons any clothes?
Yeah.
But luckily, I'm not too fond of making granddaughters' clothes, but we share granddaughters, and so I'm just really thrilled. They have the most beautiful clothes, and they look like such little princesses because of Amy. She makes wonderful clothes. All right, so you make these great clothes, and now you're into making some bears. So how did that begin?
Well, when Brian, my husband, passed a couple years ago, I had lots of his clothing left, and I decided that I wanted to make something for each one of the kids to have as a keepsake in his memory. So this was a blue jeans, and these were shirts. So I made 15 of them for my 15 grandchildren for Christmas, and that's kind of how I got started.
Wow, and they are so cute. Can you zoom in on these? And they're full, and they're fluffy, and they're soft and huggable, and each one is just a little bit different. So you take clothing and you use a pattern, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite pattern?
I do. This is my pattern. It's out of print, and so I found it.
$1.97.
Yeah,
Oh
well,
my
I didn't
gosh.
pay $1.97 for that pattern. I had to get a backup in case I needed it, and so yeah, I found it on something like eBay or someplace for 15. But yeah, that's the pattern. I searched and searched for the one that I liked the best, and that's the one I came up with.
Oh, wow. And I assume that there's a lot of work involved in each one of these. Let's talk about fabrics, because the ones that I'm seeing here, they seem like they're pretty much cotton. That looks like a flannel on the end.
This one is made out of a fleece. This one was made
fleece.
out of a baby sleeper. Now these are because my husband had passed. But this one, the mom just wanted something made to remember her child later. So this was made out of her sleeper. So they're fleece. And obviously they're two different sleepers because there's not enough fabric in one to be able to
make one
bear out of.
bear. Do you need one shirt?
Mm-hmm.
Like a man's size shirt?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Right. There's been a couple that I've had that were I had to completely disassemble the shirt to get enough fabric to make the bear out of. So,
Oh, okay.
the smaller the person, the harder it is to have enough fabric. But
So do you always, is that the first thing you do, take the shirt apart, like sleeves?
if I
fronts
need
and back?
to, I will take it apart.
Wow.
I've made some out of T-shirts that'll have a graphic on it. I try very hard not to destroy the graphic. If I can in some way save it so that it's on the bear somewhere, I will try to do that. This one in the sleeper, this was actually the front of the sleeper, so I tried to place the pattern pieces so that I could save the little bear face.
They have such cute personalities. Almost each one seems a little bit different to me. Now, are there any fabrics that you really steer away from that wouldn't work very well?
I've made bears out of just about every fabric there is. There's some that I don't prefer. Some of them that are more silky, that kind of thing. They're more fragile. The first time someone brought me fleece, I thought, oh my, I don't know about fleece, but it turned out that the bears were so fuzzy and adorable. But as you can see, the size in this bear and this bear, the more stretchy the fabric, the bigger the bear gets.
Well,
they get a little fatter.
So that's my problem. I just have a little stretchy skin on the
Just put
outside.
stretchy clothes on. So
Okay. Well, and you know, just I've seen the girls with their bears, and now our grandson and his sister, they have new little bears, and they brought them over the other night. And he brought his over, and he said something about, is this what you put on all of them?
Yeah, I have two different ones,
And-
but it just says that.
Let me read it. I was once worn by someone so dear who through loving memory will always be near. So when you hug me close to you, just remember I love you. And oops, was I not supposed to turn? No, that one's finished. Anyway, he had taken his off, but he pretty much remembered it, and he was just hugging it. He just thought this was so great because it was his it's actually his great grandma's, but they really love them.
I know my granddaughters will sleep with theirs, and they've been repaired a couple times because they're stitching. They've been hugged on and loved on.
That's good. Okay. Do you have to use any interfacing?
No.
No. So you
No
just
interfacing.
use the regular fabric,
Mm-hmm.
and you do. You stuff them, I assume, with polyester.
Polyfill is what I
How
use.
much does it take to do one bear?
Well, it's kind of hard to say because a bear that has
it
stretchy
squishes out.
it will
Yeah.
take more than a woven fabric, but I'll
I
put it.
guess. Pretty-
Usually in a 5-pound box of stuffing, and I buy it in the big boxes. But I maybe will get 5 bears out of it, 4 or 5 bears. So at least a pound or
pound
two.
of stuff.
It just depends on. the fabric.
Now, can you do most of this by machine?
Everything's done by machine, but
The
this
eyes.
one, this is where it's been stuffed, so all that has to be
Sewn by hand.
sewn by hand. Yeah.
Huh.
So that one's not quite done yet, and her bow's not on yet.
And then you put their eyes and nose.
I do that when I assemble them.
Oh, okay. Okay. And little bows and little buttons.
The boys get a bow tie and buttons, and the girls get a big fluffy bow.
Little. How long does it take you to make one bear? About.
Sewing, I can make one in about an hour. Not stuffed, just make the bear.
Oh. Well, you've got this down.
Yeah.
Of course, you have to cut it.
The cutting is normally the hardest part because finding the parts of the shirt that you want to save
Put everywhere.
and having enough fabric. So it takes a little longer to cut them out, probably longer to cut them out than it does to actually sew them
Ah.
for me.
And I know she's made a lot of bears. And if anyone would be interested, she does make bears for others, right?
Right.
And so how could anyone reach you if they wanted to find you to talk to you about making them some bears?
Well, I am on Facebook, but I've got an email address, which is Amy Vaughn 1, the number 1, at AOL. So.
Okay, I think we've got that, and we can put that up, can't we? And she's on Facebook. Amy Raker Vaughn on Facebook,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And, before we stop, she also has made, now these are not bears, but they're the cutest little purses made out of jeans. And this, well, and they've got like a flannel inside.
Mm-hmm.
Was that his shirt?
That was not his shirt, but this was his jeans.
These were jeans.
His jeans, yeah.
So these were their grandpa's jeans, and there's at least 4 girls. Now, did you make ones for the other girl, your other granddaughters?
Yeah, I made.
How many granddaughters did you?
I have 8 granddaughters.
Oh my gosh!
They all got one, and the boys got pillows, patchwork pillows made out of jeans and flannel.
Oh, and I just love this the strap on it. It's just so cute, and it's so good because Elizabeth is now in 8th grade, 8th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. Anyway, this is perfect. Perfect for as you get older. Well, is there anything else you want to add? I thank you for showing. I know that.
Thank you.
I wish that I had the patience and the tolerance, but if I did those, then I wouldn't get anything else done. But I think they're just so very cute, and I know that a lot of people are interested in. If you are a sewer and you think you'd be interested in doing bears, get yourself a pattern and get sewing. If you'd rather just have somebody else make your bear, just get in touch with Amy here, and she can make some bears for you. Thanks.